defense. It's intercepted by Florida. Bryant Stewart. Touchdown. Damian Harris, straight ahead touchdown, Alabama. From a yard out. And he's basically saying, let's get guys bye-bye.
On looking that way. Got it! It's Rodgers! The Aggies win the game of the year!
So if we can utilize, tempo to our advantage, allow defense to have to defend every blade of grass, I think in getting our speed and space, I think that allows us to have the most success.
Spread the ball around. We have 5 or 6 great options at receiver, and then a couple really good options out of the backfield too. So we have playmakers all over the field that they're going to have to account for.
Really, you look at 9 wins for this team, that's probably about right.
I don't like Ed Orgeron. He's a great person, but I just don't trust him as a coach. I like the coordinator.
Do you think he makes bad decisions?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
That's where
he's
when you say you don't.
He's a bad in-game manager.
It bothers me when I have a wager on them because I'm afraid that he's going to make a bad decision.
Find a way to
Yes.
lose again. Find a way to lose again.
Burrow throws over the top, and he's got it. Touchdown, Jamar Chase. Touchdown, LSU. Burrow to the corner. Touchdown, LSU. It's Justin Jefferson.
As a passing game coordinator, totally different offense.
Burrow's got time, and he's got 6. Terrace Marshall with a touchdown grab. A 4-receiver look. The inside pass. It's an easy touchdown. It's another for Terrace Marshall. Burrow not pressured much today. He goes to the end zone. He's got another touchdown. Terrace Marshall finds pay dirt for the 3rd time from the redshirt senior quarterback.
LSU 2019 LSU. The anniversary was 5 years ago, just this last middle of the week on January 13th, that LSU had won the 2019 national championship. January 13th, 2020, LSU crowned national champions after beating defending champion Clemson, who were on a 28-game winning streak. This was a team that destroyed Alabama, Nick Saban's Alabama, with Trevor Lawrence as a freshman, right? And LSU respond to a double-digit deficit early in that game, which just makes it even better. To the point, and start beating the living shit out of them with first Thad Moss and then Justin Jefferson, turning certain Clemson DBs into quicksand, into pretzels with his moves. And soon enough, LSU were in victory formation, as they were so many times in that season, winning their 15th game of the year and being crowned national champions. I want to hear, because it was very interesting. It was never just like, hey, it's written into the stars. The second this LSU this 2019 LSU team, the off season before, no one was expecting this LSU team to win that national championship in 2019. I felt we had a shot to contend. I felt with a quarterback like Burrow, we had a shot to contend. I did not anticipate Burrow throwing 60 touchdown passes. I thought, maybe 40, maybe 45. I thought Burrow would have that type of a year where he would lead us, basically to like an Orange Bowl or something, a Fiesta Bowl, something like that, which we had played in the year before against UCF. I expected LSU to contend toe-to-toe with Alabama in the SEC, but back then, LSU losing how many straight games to get matchups against Alabama? What was it, 8? Something like that? You had to see it first, really. Let's be real. Even though we predicted in our pregame prediction back then in 2019, LSU Odyssey predicted LSU to beat Alabama, Tua, Nick Saban, all those guys, Henry Ruggs III, the list goes on of the names. We predicted a close win. And LSU really, just like the Texas game, just like the Auburn game, really were definitive winners by at least 2 scores, but the team scored a late touchdown or a late field goal to make it look a lot closer than it really was. But this team was not expected to do anything, right? They're expected 9 wins, all that stuff. You just heard it in the intro tape, which was not by us. That was compiled by this site right here, LSU Tigers. This channel. It's only got 2.18 thousand subscribers. Let me share their thing because their video is just so well done. I've gone back to it year after year after year. So well edited. This is their channel. I think it's their only video. Subscribe to that channel as we have. Subscribe. It's at LSU Tigers 3508. Incredible work with this video. I had to shout them out there because we're using the video a lot in this, and they did fantastic work here. It has nothing to do with us, this video. It's all what they did. It's been out there for a while, and just as a LSU fan, I've watched it plenty of times in the past. This 2019 season, when did it really kick off? It kicked off in that Texas game, that game against Texas.
It's going to be a bloody battle.
That's right.
Yep. And that's what we're here to do tonight. Yeah. Thank you for coming to our house, Tigers. Tonight, we will send you home. It's 29-27 losers. The University of Texas Longhorns victorious tonight, Austin, Texas. Let's get it on.
That's a great acting job. He thought he was going to keep the 2019 Tigers to 27 points. That's a great acting job there, Matthew. Fresh off an Oscar McConaughey for Dallas Buyers Club. That's terrible there, Matthew. And we all remember that TV telecast, or I guess maybe you don't if you were at the game. But I think even if you were at the game, obviously you would remember the telecast too, because it was so like all over the place with images of McConaughey looking disturbed and like he was basically.
Tonight, we will send you home.
The second coming.
It's 29-27 losers. The University of Texas Longhorns victorious tonight.
This was the game. This was the game that ignited the whole thing. Because LSU went into this game had such. I mean, they're not even showing it, but there were fights pregame between the players. Caleb on Chason getting into it with all these Texas guys. Texas guys wearing shirts that said, "We're the real DBU." All this bullshit. There was so much going on. The visitors' locker room had no air conditioning. It was boiling. They put LSU's band and the LSU families, the LSU Tiger parents and family members, up in the stands, right in the sun, like right in the worst place, just the murderous worst spot, and completely devoid of any view, really. And it's just a terrible spot to be in. They put most of the LSU sections that traveled, the traveling fans, in those areas. Texas tried to do LSU dirty in this game. And LSU wasn't having it. LSU wasn't having it. In this game, it went back and forth. It did. But LSU were definitive winners. In this game alone, LSU had three receivers go for over 100 yards. Of course, Jamar Chase. Of course, Justin Jefferson. And then Terrace Marshall. Absolutely destroy, crisp, and burn Texas to a husk of themselves. Joe Burrow passes for 471 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no play. I mean, this game was so back and forth and it was so intense, right? But I feel like LSU's defense was kind of slipping, and they were kind of showing you, hey, this is what the season's going to be like. This defense is going to hold here and it's going to make some plays there. But overall, the offense has to step on the other team's throat, or we're not gonna win games. We're not gonna get to that promised land, right? So it's really like put that ball in Joe Burrow's hands and go win the game before this defense gets worn out, before this game gets out of control. We didn't know if freshman Derek Stingley Jr. was going to be as perfected as he was out there, such an animal on defense, like literally cut off half the field every play. Inspired Christian Fulton, Kerry Vincent, all these guys at the back end, Cordell Flott, to raise their games beyond what was expected of them even. Kerry Vincent had 5 picks. Jacoby Stevens had 3 picks on the year. Christian Fulton, I think, only had 2 or 3, but had an incredible year. But there's plays where he got beat. There's plays where Stingley gets beat. Stingley allowed 5 touchdowns that first year. Fulton allows a few as well. I mean, these guys got beat on plays, but it was how they responded as well and made turnovers, created plays. If you just gave Joe Burrow a few extra possessions, as this 2019 defense always could, if you could just hold on just a little bit, make a stop here, make a stop there, have a guy get, go out, one guy would go out for a couple sacks in a game, Caleb Chase on. Then the next game it would be Stingley getting 2 picks against Georgia. And then it would be Rashard Lawrence getting like key pass breakups, batted passes at the line in another game. It was collective and it was assorted. You had Patrick Queen showing out in the title game against Alabama. Him and Caleb Chase took over on defense. I don't want to minimize the defense's importance on this team. The defense was way overlooked, way overrated, way overlooked, way underrated, way taken advantage of. Yes. We kind of just went, we got Stingley and Patrick Queen and Grant Delpit on our defense and Rashard Lawrence and Tyler Shelvin playing at his optimum and Caleb Chase at his optimum. And it's all good. We got Braden Foco coming off the bench, and he's playing at his best with 6 TFLs. Braden Foco had 6 TFLs off the bench that year. Okay. And this 2019 team really set the tone for what this season would be, I think, in this Texas game, because the defense was bend but not break. And I mean bend. Okay? We allowed 409 receiving yards ourselves. We allowed 2 receivers to go over 100 yards in that game against us. We didn't allow Texas to rush for over 100 yards, though. Their leading rusher had only 60 yards, and that was Sam Ehlinger. They could do nothing rushing the ball with an actual running back. Even though we didn't create any turnovers with Sam Ehlinger throwing a pick, a huge Keontae Ingram fumble, and then Joseph Asai threw a pick. Take that back. Joseph Asai got a pick from Joe Burrow, but Keontae Ingram also fumbled the ball. That turnover completely that changed things for LSU. And look, just like the 2023 team, like we've talked about with Jaden Daniels before, you give Joe Burrow an extra possession, LSU wins 45-38, right? And it looks smooth and it looks great on the screen. You look at all these stats. But this team makes it, the stats look unbelievable. But when you go back and you watch the film and you see how they actually did this, how they actually achieved this, it becomes biblical. I mean, 3rd and 17 is the play where it ignites. 3 receivers over 100 yards. Great. All the stats. Great. It shows LSU is a different team this year. But had we lost this game, everyone would have said LSU, for all their evolution offensively, which is great, and all their entertaining offensive fireworks, which is great, their defense has regressed. They couldn't really run the ball. You know, Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 87 yards and a touchdown, but like there was no sustained, like grounded pound, let's bleed the clock, let's control the game type of ethos. It was very fast, in your face, up-tempo stuff. But 3rd and 17 is the play where it all begins. And that's consensus. That's become college football history. That's not my opinion. Well, and
Ellinger going right, being chased.
And here's the thing. That's a big stop in the context of this game. Glenn Logan, Patrick Queen in on that.
The corner can't get there, and Eagles catches it and keeps his feet. Brandon Eagles. Corner can't get there, and Eagles catches it.
Like you saying it, Bolton got beat on some big plays. So did Stingley. We'll have 2 touchdowns in the Alabama game. How does he? I mean, he's got so many options. Watch this play. I mean, just look at the design of this. He's got Chase right there. Chase catches that. He's probably going to get to the 1 or he's going to score. Okay. He can just swing this to the flat. Is that Leonard Fournette? 27? I think so. He fits that in a window of 6 dudes. Look at that. Look at that. Let's blow that up on the screen as incredibly much as we can. Look at that. Joe Burrow through a window of 6 guys. And there's some throws Garrett Nussmeier made this last season that remind you of Joe Burrow because it's about moxie and it's about trust and it's about put it in the spot. Now, Nussmeier did not have the receiving core that Joe Burrow had, but perhaps this year he will. We'll get into that later. But point is, Joe Burrow, he could settle here for Jamar Chase and maybe get to the 1. And then it's 4th and goal. What are you going to do? You're in a big spot. Joe Burrow's like, we need a response. Boom. Right through 6 people. Right through over the top of the linebackers. Right in front of the safeties. Just insanity. I mean, this is a ridiculous throw. I don't know if I'm getting over the top here, but to me, I'm almost underselling this. I mean, just it goes right past that guy's face. It goes right past that linebacker's face. Justin Jefferson. He was always there to make these tough, hard-nosed catches.
Of 18, Burrow right back at it into the end zone.
Oh, that's a God catch. That's a God catch by Justin. You remember that one? I do. That was freakish. Right, I was about to say, was that right before the half? Yes, 47 seconds right before that. I remember losing my mind when we scored this because while the offense looked good, while I was loving the flashes from Clyde Edwards-Helaire out of the backfield, knowing, hey, this guy is a dual threat now. We've got Jamar Chase. He's making some big plays. He's not injured anymore. We can finally get to see him. We've got Terrace Marshall, who's actually leading the way right now over the first game and a half. Like, let's see what he can do. He's over 100 yards in this game. Justin Jefferson, we already knew he was building to something in 2019 and something. It's just disgusting. It's just disgusting that it's like when you needed a play, 51 seconds right before half, you could go in up 16-7 against Texas, and that could be acceptable. But Joe goes for a kill shot.
Jefferson for the touchdown.
He goes for a kill shot. I'm going to put you out of this game. And Justin Jefferson obliges.
Pick up of 18,
I mean, look at this.
Burrow right back at it into the end zone and pick up of 18.
Sorry, we got too excited. We got to put that big. We're trying to make it bigger than this thing could possibly make it. I mean, look at this contortion. Oh my God, that is so sick. I can't get over it. I can't get over it. My son's in the other room, like, what doing? He thinks Daddy's going nuts.
Sam Ellinger.
Son, you weren't born for 2019. It was before you were born.
Touchdown.
4 score and 4.5, 5 years ago.
Down the middle. It's in there and caught for
Sam
a
Ellinger
touchdown.
had his best game I think I've from him I ever saw as well in this game. He was incredible.
For a touchdown. It's Jake Smith, the freshman.
Really feel sorry for him and his family. Not sorry, but I feel like it's terrible for him and his family and the tragedy that they had. I think wasn't Sam Ellinger's brother died as well.
Joe Burrow into the end zone. Touchdown LSU. Terrace Marshall.
I hope Sam Ellinger is I don't know what he's doing in the NFL, but I hope he has an awesome career or something. Look at Joe cocking back there. Boom! Terrace Marshall. It's just too easy. He was a touchdown finishing machine. You know, people love to throw out, you know, Brian Thomas Jr. reminds them of Jamar Chase, or he reminds them of Justin Jefferson. They just kind of casually throw out the names without even like really thinking about the profile of the receiver athletically or who they actually kind of play like. I always felt like Brian Thomas Jr. was most comparable to this guy, to Terrace Marshall, where it's like this guy just finishes plays. He's got a knack for the football, and he just goes up and gets it. Contested catches in the red zone, in the heat of the moment, when you need a quick strike answer, throw it deep to this guy, he's going to get it. Only that Florida State game and maybe a couple drops did we only see Brian Thomas Jr. not live up to that pedigree. He's lived up to it big time in the NFL, nominated for Rookie of the Year, over 1,000 yards, over 10 touchdowns his first season in Jacksonville. Terrace Marshall and Brian Thomas Jr., I feel, are very comparable athletically as receivers. And I've always felt like that was the comparison for me. Terrace Marshall had 13 touchdowns in 2019. 13 touchdowns in 2019. Just disgusting. That was crazy. Neil Farrell was in the position to make that tackle. And Neil Farrell actually, I think, makes this guy kind of, who's that coming across the middle, kind of like, whoa, I don't want any part of that. Let's don't get destroyed here. Who is that? It goes so fast. Is that Queen? The guy looks smaller than Queen, but maybe it is him. But that guy did not want to get destroyed and murdered there by Neil Farrell's weight coming at him like a freight train. This game was crazy, though, because every time LSU, you felt we're safe and comfortable, and we had, okay, Texas are out of this, they'd come right back on us. What a play from Clyde. And then he does the horns down famously. They don't show it here on the highlights, but there's a classic GIF you can probably find on Twitter that shows it proudly. But the footage is beautiful of Clyde doing the horns down. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I think, you know, we ranked him in our 2019 top 10, the number one, not the number one, the number two. God, I'm making terrible mistakes lately. The number 2 LSU Tiger of the 2019 Tiger season. That was where we thought he belonged the most. He was so effective and so critical to LSU, he had to be number 2. Because of his balance that he provided the offense, because he could be a perfect outlet receiver to bail Joe out. When Joe's looking at all this eye candy, you know, I want to throw it to Jamar, I want to throw it to Justin, I want to throw it to Terrace, I want to throw it to Thad, but there's nothing going on here. Oh shit, there's a dude in my face. I have to get yards here. He could casually throw that thing to Clyde. Clyde would make the play. You remember Clyde making those moves, making the outrageous 3rd and 9 play against Alabama that really just sunk Alabama. It was such a backbreaking play. We will show that one next as well. But this Texas game is where it all started. And this is the play. This is the play. Well, I mean, it's just insane. And you can hear the commentators. I'm gonna shut up while we play this, but you can listen for the commentators, because we all think, I think, did the same thing. You can hear the commentators right when Joe goes up in the pocket. he almost like, he's escaping pressure, but he's running right into it too. And just goes like this and releases a perfect ball. You can hear the commentators go, you can hear them gasp. Listen for it.
So LSU back in the house.
Right here.
Over the middle.
I mean, it's before they make the noise too. I had my headphones on. You can hear them go, like they're literally like this is football erotica for them. Joe should be dead right there. Joe's dead. I thought Joe is going to have a sack fumble, a strip sack. We're screwed. But when Joe kind of crouched like that, I knew Joe knew what was happening and was aware of the guy. If Joe had just been like this, no matter how ready he is to throw the football, you're still worried that guy's coming around, Joe was like, just elevates right into this area. Okay. Oh, a dude is trying to strip the ball from his right. A guy is trying to strip the ball from his right. A dude is trying to sack him from his left and from behind. I'm just astounded at this play. And I think that's Ed Ingram in there on this play as well because there was an injured Tiger. I think Damian Lewis got hurt on this play.
Over the middle.
Oh.
Wait to Jefferson. First down on his way. And that might be the
that never gets old. And then look at the Geaux family.
Give up a quick touchdown. You might as well do what Todd Harris did. Into the end zone, and a quick touchdown is there, and it is Duvernay. And
see, that's what
drove me nuts about this game.
Was they would just allow some really stupid late touchdowns.
Give up a quick touchdown.
This game is over. Finish this, 45-31. Instead, it makes it look like Texas battled us to the end. This game was a great back and forth game. I mean, yeah, 2:35. If LSU does not make that 3rd and 17 play, yes, okay, I take it back. Even though we basically win by 2 scores, like really in reality, this game really was a one-score game. So you know what? I give it to Texas because without this play, 3rd and 17, 2:35 left, we're punting it to probably not going to be punting it even, probably going for it. Some crazy shit. But no, we're probably punting it, obviously. With a defense that's tired, only has a 6-point lead. It's just Ellinger already over 400 yards in the game. No way. Thank God, because 3rd and 17 ignited everything. You had a good feeling from Georgia Southern, but it's Georgia Southern.
LSU back in the house.
LSU had to go into Texas and do this for it all to really start, really kick off.
And that might be the knockout punch. To give up a quick touchdown, you might as well do what Todd Harris did. Into the end zone, and a quick touchdown is there, and it is Duvernay.
We'll be here all night if we're doing that.
Maybe just the slightest of hope.
Joe Burrow is changing what we think of LSU. Coming into the season, we knew they'd be a talented football team, but didn't know what they get from the quarterback position. So we didn't really have them in the conversation to win the SEC. Now they look like a team that can beat Alabama because Joe Burrow is no longer just a game manager. He can carry this football team.
Ooh, he's making that comment then. I love that. I didn't know. I remember watching all that and saying tribute to all the opinions and how LSU
after the penalty, first down. After looking in zone, fires,
but shorts. To me, like LSU were still being disrespected until we beat Alabama. I mean, look at that. Northwestern State scored that touchdown. They're all celebrating on us. Like some of the things that this 2019 defense allowed were almost like pathetic. But luckily our offense just was so unfucking real. Just like a video game offense that it made up for it. And that's why our defense was sloppy, I think, too, because they almost like got lazy because they knew, oh, well, our offense will figure it out. That's all everyone wants to see is the offense. They kind of got weird about it until the end of the season, the last few games, after they allowed all those yards against Ole Miss, which we'll get into. After that, they kind of buckled down, and what a season they had to end it. Terrace Marshall again. But if he did not get injured, we're going to look up how many games that Terrace Marshall played in and how many he missed. And I swear to God, I'd feel terrible for him if he missed any games in that season. I know he missed at least a few. Like, I know he missed a few games in that season for some type of injury. I hate that the sites are not like the football stat sites are not like soccer stat sites. Soccer stat sites are so damn good and so organized and so comprehensive, and it's all right there. There's, ESPN, you look up Travis Hunter's stats, you can't even get his defensive stats because he's an offensive player and he's like shoved into this weird format. You can't even get his defensive stats, only his offensive stats. Look at that. Look at how this team was so deep. That's another thing. Trey Palmer has been huge for Tampa Bay. Had over 1,000 yards at Nebraska after he transferred from LSU. Had a kickoff, had a special teams touchdown in this 2019 season. May have had a receiving touchdown this year. I'm not sure. But Miles Brennan in there late with garbage time. You got John Trey Kirkland. Ty Davis-Price in there at running back scoring right there. Ty Davis-Price is your, third running back in that season? Fourth running back even? Pick your poison with a running back room that was legendary with first Clyde and then John Emery Jr., and then Chris Curry, and then Ty Davis-Price. Ty Davis-Price had 6 rushing touchdowns in 2019. 6. And not only that, Ty, who was the backup, later led the program in single-game record for rushing when he destroyed Florida with 287 yards. He broke that record and also had a 1,000-yard rushing season that year. John Emery Jr. has continued to be great for LSU over the years. Might even play a 7th season with this last injury, though. Has been a dual threat, great asset for LSU, especially in 2022, 2023 marred by injury, sadly, 2024 as well. But shown his worth every single time he plays for LSU, in my opinion, John Emery Jr. There's been some mistakes, of course, like any player, but he's been a damn good Tiger. That room is loaded. I mean, it's just insane. You look at the names of how deep this roster seriously was. And it's almost like, how did anyone compete? How did anyone have a chance? Like, how did anyone have a chance against us? He missed 2. Oh, wait, no, that's 2018. Okay. He missed 3 games. He missed 3 games in 2019. Terrace Marshall had 671 yards, 46 catches, averaged 14.6 per catch, 13 touchdowns. Good God. And this Vanderbilt game was hard for me to watch because so many guys got hurt, and I was so pissed off by this game. Like, I loved watching Jamar Chase go just crazy in this game. I know it's showing Justin's score right there, but Jamar Chase goes off. Like, he has over 220-something yards in this game. Look, how does he score from that position? How do they not tackle him? Like, do you see that? The angles they have, he's just too fast. He's just incredible. And I know it's Vanderbilt, but you can see that second level acceleration, right? Yeah. You can just see that separation. It's unreal, the athlete Jamar Chase was. And he only really played 1 full season at LSU. and has all these records at LSU or is like second or third. It's incredible what Jamar Chase could have done at LSU had he played even more. What he did already is legendary. It's something else. Clyde, scoop to my Lou. Look at this dude. Unreal move. Unreal move. Let's see. Boom. I think even Clyde, let's look up how many touchdowns he had as well. Let's look up all of the touchdowns. Let's look up all of the stats. Just get it all in one place because it's like almost sexy, you know, like 2019 stats. Like, like Homer seeing a donut. Like, oh. So LSU wore the purple against Vanderbilt and against Northwestern State. Who is that who scored? Is that Chris Curry? Or no, that's Vanderbilt who just scored that one. Let's take a look at what the hell happened there. Is this a mishap by LSU? Jamar Chase was just ridiculous that season. Oh, yep, a fumble. They had a scoop and score. Wow, I forgot about that play. Who fumbled that? Who fumbled that? I bet it was John Emery Jr. because that's what I swear became like a thing was he can't pass block, he fumbles, he can't be that number one running back for LSU yet, blah, 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 blah. I'd be shocked if that was Clyde who fumbled that. I know Clyde had a few fumbles that year, but I don't think he lost any. Oh, my God, it was Clyde. It was Clyde. Holy shit, I was wrong. It was Clyde. Look at that. Is that Racey McMath catching that touchdown? Yep. I mean, Racey McMath back up to all these guys at 4 touchdowns this year. I mean, it's ridiculous. What a throw there. That's a beautiful throw right there. I mean, that's the thing that this LSU offense must learn from a guy like Joe Burrow. Quick throws. Just get rid of it. Get these athletes the ball and let them go in space. There's another big gash by LSU there. Defensively, we were terrible in this game. And ton of injuries defensively, too, in this game. Jamar Chase was just ridiculous. I mean, look at that punt block. This is Micah Baskerville. I mean, I would have been like, get the fuck away. No one screw up this recovery for me. Like, I just blocked this shit, and the only way this will be, go out of bounds. Hey, there's my man Sanchez with the belt. The only way that's going to screw up is some idiot comes flying there trying to get glory. Like, let Baskerville just focus and just recover that and fall on it in the end zone. Like, that is his play. He blocks that shit and then recovers it in the end zone. What a play. And Micah Baskerville almost had a second touchdown this year when he recovered an onside kick and got tackled literally at like the inch line in this same season. Micah Baskerville nearly 2 special teams touchdowns. There's John Emery Jr. We apologize to John Emery Jr. Alleging that he fumbled. Miles Brennan takes a shot there, throws a pick 6. Wow. That game was a bloodbath. Like, yeah, great signs for LSU. This game was another one I felt. LSU wore purple a lot this season. 3 times in a row. Okay. What are we, the 2024 Tigers? Jesus. How long what? Someone literally just commented how long Chip Kelly got. His seat warm? Bro, this is an LSU show. I don't give a shit about the offensive coordinator of Ohio State. Like, I don't care about Chip Kelly. What are we talking about here? We're talking about the 2019 LSU Tigers. That's what we're talking about. I don't care about Chip Kelly. Boom. Almost drops that. Justin doing the gritty. A lot of these touchdowns on the run from Joe. My God. I mean, just...
touchdown catch of the day. Burrow.
It's just too easy. I mean, there's...
Touchdown pass number 5 goes to
It was a poor defensive year all around for the conference, SEC, the SEC teams, but also all around college football, I felt 2019. There was a lot of high-scoring games. Not just LSU. This game was nuts. This game was fun.
We're going after them. I mean, we definitely, we want to win this game. We need revenge. I mean, they beat us last year, and then Joe threw a pick the last play. So, I mean, we going out for them. I mean, we definitely don't like them. They don't like us. We know that. They say they're DBU. We say we DBU. So, I mean, we definitely going to go for their heads this game.
Jabari Zuniga, the other pass rush bookend, healthy, and now a busted hole. Edwards-Hilaire's in the clear. It's a foot race, and the Gators will finally chase him down inside the 10. Playing fast in the red zone. Burrow zips it across the middle. Caught. Touchdown. Jamar Chase. Trask. Play action.
Kyle Trask versus Joe Burrow. All these Florida fans trying to claim that Trask was a Heisman winner in the making, all this crap. Trying to say that Florida's the real DBU and Stingley isn't that good. Stingley's overrated, all this shit. And it was all answered.
Jones looking to throw, lobs into the end zone.
How did you not intercept that? Is that Queen? Jesus. Oh, Edwards-Helaire. Oh, that's Queen. It never ceases to amaze me the amount of amazing, just unreal plays that Clyde would make this season. How just no one would tackle him. No one could tackle him. Oh, man. Divinity comes with a big hit, and it doesn't matter. He hangs on. Well, like, these teams brought it to LSU. You got to admit it. You got to hand it to them.
Sidestep traffic. Look at him drive and muscle into the end zone. Touchdown Tigers. And now busting into the clear. Davis plays, scores a touchdown to put the Tigers back in front.
God. There we go. There's the play. Stingley. He allows a touchdown to Florida, and then he responds to that play. And that's just pick and catch. Seiji. Look at that. That's just beautiful. Who did that? Fahoko 91. I love the celebrations. This team knew how to actually celebrate as a team, too. This Calebon? Yep, it's Calebon. Ow! He just basically jumps in the air. Ow! And that's not going to count as a sack, but it should.
LSU will have committee will have them number one. They should be number one. Again, committee, don't talk to me about strength of schedule. Don't tell me that matters if you got a team that goes to Texas to start their season and wins at Texas. A top 15 team in college football, and just handles their business at home against Florida, another one of the better teams in college football. There is nothing nobody else has done to come close to that. LSU should be the number one team in the country, and it's not even close.
Absolutely. Music.
Courtesy of the Predator. Low snap. Schrader gets away.
Oh, yeah, that's the game where Joe gets his pants pulled down. You know, the thing that's really still incredible about that season is, 2019 starts to feel like a different world, after all this time. Like a past life from a galaxy far, far away from this current state of affairs. Take yourself back to like June 2019, and now launch yourself. Kind of be there in that 2019 vibe, and then launch yourself 5 years to this very day. What would you learn? What would surprise you if you had been like Back to the Future, What the hell is COVID, No way would Elon Musk buy Twitter, and who gives a shit who Elon Musk is? Why does everyone care who Elon Musk is? No way would we actually get a 12-team college football playoff expansion. Like no way would Justin Jefferson become an LSU legend. 2-star rated players don't become superstars. No way. No way will an LSU quarterback win the Heisman. No way. No way 2019 LSU would become this undisputed greatest offensive juggernaut in college football history. It's just comical. I mean, come on, I'm from 2019. I'm visiting the future. The least you could do is tell me the truth, Until you see the film, though. Game by game, all 15 of those magical victories during that 2019 season, and your jaw would become locked to the floor watching all of those from before it actually were to go down. For over 60 years, outside of a few rare seasons, 2001, 2013, 07, and Tommy Hodson in 89, LSU relied mostly on a power running game that wasn't so sexy. A lot of underutilized or even completely ignored NFL grade receivers who usually had to play defender when the ball was in the air more often than not. Mostly underwhelming. Safe quarterback play, The quarterbacks would be safe and too scared to make a mistake. How did LSU become the fastest, most incredibly entertaining, virtually unstoppable juggernaut football had ever seen? I mean, it's the greatest B-movie wet dream you're most obsessive LSU fan could have. That's what the 2019 season was. It was so ridiculous, such a treat and just such a nonstop victory that you just kept getting it over and over and over. It was almost just an outpouring of our players could shit talk and say, I'm going to score 60 points on your ass, and then go do it to a top 5 team. It was just beautiful. It was something else. That campaign is something that changed LSU history forever. Because, it changed college football forever, because now that is possible. That is possible. And we sealed it all January 13th, 2020, just over 5 years ago to the day, with a national championship victory over Clemson on a 28-game winning streak, defending champions in where else but New Orleans, Louisiana, where we did it before in 07 and did it again did it in 03, did it again in 07, tried to do it, should have done it in 2012, 2011, and now made sure we did it in 2019. If you want to talk about stars aligning in a complete and utterly brilliant, unspeakably biblical, epic fashion, just like everything worked out, LSU's 2019 season is that exact definition. Injury-wise even. The only guy that they lost to injury was Todd Harris. Like everyone else had injuries, but they were able to play through them and kind of tolerate the pain. Rashard Lawrence, Grant Delpit, a few of these guys had really kind of some messed up ankles, messed up feet, played through it. Some pretty serious injuries, actually. But no one wanted to miss that. Todd Harris tore his ACL, sadly, against, I think it was Northwestern State. And that was it even. This team even got lucky injury-wise. From late August to January, over 15 wild, historic games. 2019 LSU gave every Tiger fan the ultimate season. The kind of year dreams are made of, the kind of season unrealistic movies are created to depict. And it's all about the people who made it possible. Whether you love him or hate him, Coach Ed Orgeron should always be the first name on this list. Absolutely. Whether you love him or hate him, he should always be that name on the list as the man most responsible for what this team did. Sure, you can argue, you can say, Joe Burrow should be first, right? And I could see that argument. But without Coach O going and actually getting Joe Burrow, there is no Joe Burrow at LSU. So, without Coach O, you don't have Joe Burrow. Without Coach O, you don't have Joe Brady. Without Coach O, there's a lot missing at the table. Les Miles. Without Coach O, you don't have Jamar Chase. Les Miles was recruiting Jamar Chase and pushed him away almost to the point he went to went to Florida because Les Miles wanted to make him a corner. Les Miles wanted to make him a corner. Jamar Chase saved that deal. He saved Calebon Chaison's deal right at the last moment. Coach O, you can say what you want about the implosion. You can say whatever you want about, he was screwing around with this chick and he was doing this and blah, blah, blah. You know what? That man led LSU with a fever and a fight and a spirit that no one's ever going to have. No one's going to ever be able to top that. And in fact, it makes Brian Kelly look a little tame watching some of the footage back. But that's because Brian Kelly has a different personality. And that's because Brian Kelly isn't the same type of person that Coach O is, where it's always intense, always and when that's not there, you saw Coach O kind of go dipping in form as far as his coaching ability. And COVID, which called for a more subtle, a more adaptable, a more flexible response and actions from the coach rather than just kind of a bullish, steamroll these motherfuckers kind of way. Coach O was kind of exposed as a coach. And it was a very rare situation that happened, and it's kind of crazy that it exposed him. And exposed him as a recruiter because you put him in the living room, he's gonna get your son to come play for him somewhere. Over Zoom, maybe he wasn't so agreeable or eye to eye, with the kids he was recruiting. So Coach O, you can say what you want about the aftermath. You can say what you want about him not He should have been there for coach for life, all this stuff. But, really he built that squad all around Joe Burrow, knowing this is his second starting season. Steve Ensminger, Joe Brady, we're putting these two guys together. He loved Steve Ensminger as his offensive coordinator, but he knew Steve Ensminger needed help. He knew that Steve Ensminger needed assistance with just a few little additional kind of wrinkles to the offense. And Joe Brady could supply that. Joe Brady came from the Saints. Sean Payton did not want to lose Joe. I'll say that. I think that's not even a secret. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows Sean Payton did not want to lose Joe Brady, but hey, he obviously didn't really do too much to keep him. Joe Brady comes to LSU. He's only there for one season, just one season. He wins a Broyles Award for Best Assistant Coach in college football, wins a national championship, and catapults his football career. And that was the passing game coordinator for LSU. LSU in 2019 literally had the coach of the year, the best receiver of the year, Blitnikoff, the Heisman. The Broyles. We did not win the best running back award, which I think is a disgusting shame. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was for sure the best running back in the country in 2019. Look at these numbers. 16 rushing touchdowns, which led the SEC, 1,414 rushing yards, 6.6 per carry. But not only that, he had 453 receiving yards, 1 receiving touchdown against Alabama, 55 catches, 17 total touchdowns. Led the SEC with rushing touchdowns. Disgusting. Jacob Phillips led the SEC in assisted tackles, went for over 100 tackles. Derek Stingley Jr. was an All-American, led the conference in pass breakups, and led the SEC with 6 interceptions. 6 interceptions. Grant Delpit won the Thorpe Award, was an All-American, had 5 TFLs, 65 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 interceptions, 7 pass breakups, and a forced fumble in the national championship game. One of those sacks also came in the national championship game on Trevor Lawrence. You even had Damone Clark, the 5th string linebacker, later became one of LSU's leading tacklers and leaders of the defense. Damone Clark had 50 tackles off the bench, played in all 15 games, 4 TFLs, 3.5 sacks. That's our backup. Jacoby Stevens, 5 sacks from the safety position. 5 sacks from the safety position. Caleb Chason, 6.5 sacks, 14 TFLs. Just insane. 6 pass breakups, too, for Jacoby Stevens, and 3 picks. What a year he had. The only bad play I remember from Jacoby Stevens that year was when he got beat by CeeDee Lamb for that touchdown. Very weird, no defensive touchdown this year of all the scoring. Look at all these names, okay? I'm going to go through all these names. This is the 2019 LSU roster, okay? Joe Burrow, Miles Brennan is your backup. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Stephen Sullivan, Justin Jefferson, Jamal Pettigrew, Jamar Chase, Ty Davis-Price, Thad Moss, Chris Curry, Racey McMath, Derek Dillon, John Trey Kirkland, Devonta Lee, Terrace Marshall, Torrey Carter, John Emery Jr., Trey Palmer, Jaray Jenkins, Leonard Fournette, He was starting before Clyde was. Had a touchdown against Georgia Southern. TK McClendon. Remember him? Transferred before the 2020 season. Tight end / DE. I remember Coach O was obsessed with him. Jacob Phillips, Jacoby Stevens, Patrick Queen, Grant Delpit, Calebon Chason, Damone Clark, Kerry Vincent Jr., Neil Farrell Jr., Tyler Shelvin, Derek Stingley Jr., Christian Fulton, Rashard Lawrence, Michael Divinity Jr., Glenn Logan, Cam Lewis, Braden Fahoko, Siaki Ika, Apu Ika, Cordell Flott, Micah Baskerville, Maurice Hampton Jr., Ray Thornton, Ray freaking Thornton, Andre Anthony, Justin Thomas, Marcel Brooks, who I actually got to meet at that TCU Utah game. Incredible. He's another dude who transferred in that COVID 2020 offseason. He went back home to Flower Mound, Texas. Jay Ward had 3 pass breakups off the bench. Jay Ward would later go on to be a great safety for LSU, play a lot of snaps. Lloyd Cole, Todd Harris Jr., Trevez Moore, John Trey Kirkland, Joseph Evans, Eric Monroe, Aaron Moffitt, Coach Moffitt's son, Avery Atkins, one of the greatest place kickers in LSU history, probably the greatest, Racy McMath. Oh, wait, we already mentioned him. Carlton Smith, Jared Small. That roster alone should be in the Louvre. 1 second, everybody. 1 second. Oh my God. Sometimes having a kid can be so annoying. I love having my kid, but holy shit, the disruptions. Even when you have 2 parents in the household. This Arkansas game was just a stat fest where Clyde went off, Jamar went off, everybody went off. I mean, it's just too silly. It's just too easy. We got to see. We got to see what Clyde's stat line for this game was. I mean, this is ridiculous. From like the first play is just boom, he's gone. You know, like this really. I mean, there's people who constantly, year after year after year, they've had some distance from watching LSU bludgeon everyone in the year. You know, the whole season. 7 top 10 teams, 4 to 5, depending on who you ask, number 1 defenses. Nick Saban, vanquished. Dabo Swinney, vanquished. Kirby Smart, vanquished. Will Muschamp. No. Will Muschamp was not the coach of Florida. It was, oh my God, he's the analyst right now. Dan, how is it? Dan Mullen, for Christ's sake. How did I forget his name? LSU beat the crap out of every coach, every star player. Tua, Trevor Lawrence. Bo Nix. They all fell at the knees of LSU in complete agony and destitution. Tombstones in their eyes. I mean, this LSU season has been. There's so many teams who try and say we're the new, we're comparable to 2019. We're comparable to 2019. And it just makes me want to scream. Like, no, you are not. You're not even close. Don't even bring it up. Don't even suggest. The only team, actually, and I know people are going to be pissed off, who aren't LSU fans, hearing this if they hear this. The only team that was close and comparable to the 2019 offense, the 2019 team could have been, is the 2023 LSU Tigers with Jaden Daniels, an automatic offense, able to outscore anybody, literally coming close to all of those records or even surpassing some of them. Had they participated in 15 games, it could have been close, right? It could have been close. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 188 rushing yards from 6 carries. 6 carries, 188 yards, 3 touchdowns, averaging 31.3 yards per touch. 7 catches, 65 yards, 9.3 per catch. Wow. My man had 253 total freaking yards. And I mean, just wow. See, that's the thing is it's like he would do it as the rusher, do it as the receiver. Made so many big plays. Comes back from a torn hamstring, kills Clemson, 110 rushing yards, 16 carries, 5 catches, 54 yards. Did not get in the end zone, sadly, that day, but he was so good in that Clemson game. Made so many back-breaking plays. His plays early in that game help us get back in that game. Even though Thad Moss's 2 touchdowns have been credited as what got us back in the game and solidified our lead, and then Clyde is making big plays to set it all up. So is Justin Jefferson. Neither of those guys scored in that game, but they played critical roles. How many 100-yard games did Clyde have? 1 rushing yard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 100-yard rushing games. He had a season high of 77 receiving yards against Alabama, and actually had 6 games of over 49 receiving yards. Damn. Good God, y'all. He averaged 21.4 yards kick return as well. So he had 214 kick return yards. So overall, $2,080 total yards for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Over 2,000 total yards. Over 2,000 total yards for Clyde in 2019. And guess what? He didn't even start that first game against Georgia Southern. Leonard Fournette did. He only got 9 carries, 45 yards, a touchdown, 4 catches, 31 in that game. And because he only got the ball 13 times and puts up nearly 100 yards, they're like, what are we doing? Play this guy, start this guy. I was shocked that he wasn't starting against Georgia Southern because I thought he would be that guy to start after what he did against UCF in the return game, but also like as a running back, he was awesome. And so I was kind of like, how come Clyde isn't starting? I really love his speed. He's like Warwick Dunn. I love what he does, but he's faster than Warwick Dunn. Like, play that dude. And when he comes in against Georgia Southern, it's like just goes off. Would he start against Texas? That was a big moment, and boom. I think because of that, Leonard Fournette actually transferred from the team before the season's end, actually. And that's, of course, the little brother of Leonard Fournette. And he also scored a touchdown that year. Everyone scored for that 2019 team. Oh, my God. What a freaking team. You know, Derek Stingley Jr. not winning SEC Freshman of the Year or SEC Defensive Player of the Year in 2019 is a joke. He should have won both awards. And you know what? He should have won the Thorpe as well. Grant Delpit should have won the Thorpe in 2018. You know, that was when Grant Delpit was the best defensive back in the country. 2019, Derek Stingley Jr. was. And Grant Delpit had an incredible season because here's the thing. Grant Delpit played both free and strong safety and was recovering from a completely broken ankle. Playing through a completely broken ankle. Put himself through hell. And you can see him barely able to even move against Ole Miss. And you know why? Because he's gritting his teeth. And guess what? The team should have been smart. The defense, Dave Aranda, what are you doing? You know you're going to beat Ole Miss. You know you're going to outscore Ole Miss, whatever happens. How about you rest Grant Delpit for that game? And I know I'm not coming off the field. That's when you protect players from themselves. That's why you have a job. Mo Hampton should have been playing in that game. And Mo Hampton probably would have been good enough to stop John Rice Plumlee, who completely destroyed LSU. Ole Miss run for over 300 yards against us in that game. We've got to show the Heisman moment.
Our goal is to beat Georgia and win the SEC, and then let's see what happens.
This was such a
we haven't been there since 2011. To win that and bring it back to Baton Rouge is a big deal for us.
It was such a big game.
We know that we have to, accomplish this to get to our ultimate goal. It would be number one for me, not just this season, but my whole life.
It was the first time since Auburn I had
slide to the left as a receiver across the middle. It's batted in the air. Joe Burrow to Joe Burrow. And now Burrow heading to the first down marker and then some. It's going to go as a Burrow to Burrow 16-yard pickup.
That's what's insane. Burrow even has a reception that season to himself. Like, it's just it's a disgusting season that he had. It's just almost unreal. This is a play. There's that Heisman moment.
Burrow, plenty of time. Scanning the field, pointing. Wow. Now he's going to go deep. And Jamar Chase for the touchdown.
You cannot rush 3 guys against Joe Burrow.
That offensive line is ridiculous. Shadiq Charles.
Just got it away.
Ridiculous.
Plenty of time.
McGee.
Scanning the field, pointing. Wow. Now he's going to go deep.
Berry. Oh, my God.
Jamar Chase for the touchdown.
You cannot rush 3 guys.
And this was like all that Jamar Chase would do in this game. He would do very little in this game.
Deep left sideline. Coverage is a cut. Yes, Terrace Marshall. There's the fake. There's the lob. There's a wide open Terrace Marshall. Touchdown.
How many times did they just like?
He's got 3 more.
I mean, Terrace Marshall, it seems like he has like 30 touchdowns, not just 13. Man, we also had Cade York that year. We had Cade York kicking field goals if we need him to. And that's the first pick. That's the first pick by Sting. And look at that. We're just comfortably playing Cordell Flott out there, who's a freshman, alongside another freshman.
$300 travel credit and a reminder.
That's the balls that the 2019 coaches had. I mean, that's the talent that they had at their disposal too. But that's the balls that this staff had to just throw guys in there and say, you figure it out because we've set you up to succeed. And now if you don't succeed, you're not going to go out there and play again because we've set you up to succeed here. And if you don't, you're going to expose yourself. And Flott never did. Jay Ward never did that season. They were balling. Ty Davis Price balling on the offensive side of the ball. John Emery Jr. had 4 touchdowns balling that season. LSU had unbelievable young talents. Marcel Brooks, every third down was given a pressure, a sack, getting some crazy havoc. Look at this play. This is the play. This is the play. He's dead to rights. Nope. And then uncorks a missile to Justin Jefferson. And I swear, does he actually score on this play? Or is he just barely tackled? I think he's barely tackled, right? Unreal. And then he throws that freaking dime to Terrace Marshall. Look at this thing. It's behind Terrace Marshall in the perfect spot where he's just right in his hip. Right in the kid, like, oh my God. Look at how he does this. Bamboozles. And then uncorks that. Throw it, buddy. Throw it. Throw me the ball. Oh. Not a good throw, Sage. Got to learn from Joe. Terrace Marshall always there to score against a big opponent. And, oh, man, Sting, I thought he was gone. Right when he goes, boom, I thought, oh, my God, he's gone. But this dude makes a great play to tackle him. Unreal. Stingley, I thought he is gone. And then we cashed right in off of it. Boom. Done. Game over. And he does this. Good night. Like, this team just, like, embarrassed others. Just embarrassed others.
Fromm throws quickly and completes it to Pickens for the touchdown.
See, there's so many talented guys we're playing against. Pickens, so many talented guys. Kirby Smart's coaching them. I mean, it's ridiculous what this team was able to do.
The Tigers of LSU here in 2019. And the Heisman Trophy will go to that man, I predict, and it won't even be close. Derek Stingley, a couple interceptions. Joe Burrow, a hug with Jake Fromm. 4 touchdown passes for Joe on the day. 48.
Oh, wow.
2019 Davey O'Brien Quarterback Award is Joe Burrow, LSU.
Joe winning freaking everything.
Joe Burrow is the first player from LSU to win the Davey O'Brien Award, is on pace to break the FBS completion percentage record set in 2008.
Joe, congratulations, man. You have worked and waited so far just looking for an opportunity. How has that journey helped shape the sweetness of the season you're having?
Yeah, I mean, it's super special. I have great people around me, great coaching staff, so that's the reason I've been able to be so successful.
I'm proud to announce the 2019 Home Depot Coach of the Year, Louisiana State University's Coach Ed Orgeron. Thank you.
LSU's Ed Orgeron is the sixth SEC coach to win the Home Depot Coach of the Year award, and first since 2013. LSU's 13 wins this season ties the school record for most in a single season.
See, we want to shit on Coach O. He won Coach of the Year for a reason.
I have the greatest coaching staff in America.
And he did. He built that staff.
On behalf of the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame and the Jim Thorpe Association, it's my honor to present.
How in God's name could they not even nominate Derek Stingley Jr. for this award? That's a joke. That is a joke.
The 2019 Paycom Jim Thorpe Award to Grant Delpit, LSU.
You knew he was going to win. You knew he was going to win. And thank God he did. But he should have won it the year before. And Stingley should have won it in 2019. And Stingley should also won SEC Freshman of the Year.
What's it like having?
Oh, here we go for this one. Jamar Chase won with Litnikoff.
I like the kicks. Very strong. You come here representing a brilliant receiving core, representing the receivers.
There's Michael Barnett, my guy Michael B.
A brilliant receiving core, representing
what a great time it would have been to be up there.
Had brilliant seasons like CD and Michael. What does it mean to represent that group at LSU?
I can say it means a lot. You know, the work ethic from the DBs there. You know, there's a lot of competition every day, and just pushing my guys and my guys pushing me.
It's my honor to present the 2019 Maxwell Award to.
I mean, Joe, how many? It was like 19 awards or something. Joe won. Ridiculous.
Joe Burrow is the first player from LSU to win the Maxwell Award and second in consecutive from the SEC.
To his football program.
The speech.
He just means so much to me and my family.
Coach O's face, like they just kept a Coach O camera.
Loyalty and dedication everywhere I go. And I'm surrounded by such great people that make that so easy. Coming from Southeast Ohio, it's a very, very impoverished area, and the poverty rate is almost 2 times the national average. And there's so many people there that don't have a lot. And I'm up here for all those kids in Athens and in Athens County that go home to not a lot of food on the table, hungry after school. And you guys can be up here too. Coach O.
If you ever shit on Coach O, how about you watch this first?
You have no idea what you mean.
What did that guy yell out like an idiot? Like, what the hell is that guy doing yelling that?
You have no idea what you mean to my family. I didn't play for 3 years. You took a chance on me, not knowing if I could play or not. And I'm forever in your...
That's true. Joe was messed up.
Forever grateful for you.
He's injured.
Can you imagine a guy like Coach O giving me the keys to his football program?
Point is, you watch this team, you watch this 2019 team, you see what the ultimate is possible. What it takes to get there, what you have to be at that level. Who you have to have on your team, who you have to have on your staff to make it possible. And now you see this 2025 LSU squad and staff. You see this team, this group that is kind of coming together day by day. It's very intriguing what they're building. I'm not saying it's going to be the next 2019 Tigers. There will never be another 2019 Tigers. Never. They're the greatest of all time, and they will always be the greatest of all time. Unless somebody shatters those records and does it against that type of competition that's even better, where it's like every one of their peers that will be known in the history books as well, that they also slaughtered alongside them. Like it has to all set up for you to even be able to get there to top 2019. And it's unspeakable how good Joe Burrow was. It's unspeakable how good this 2019 team was. In all three phases. You had Zach Von Rosenberg as your punter. You had Avery Atkins as your place kicker. You had Cade York kicking your field goals. You had an unbelievable receiving corps. The best that college football has probably ever seen. You had Thad Moss at tight end. A Moss at tight end. Oh, my God. It was a year of just insane games. The Alabama game, the Auburn game. The Georgia game was good for the first little bit of that. There was some intense contests. Mississippi State played us well, played us tight. Clemson with scaring the shit out of us with that double-digit early lead. But as much as I'm really excited by what LSU are starting under Brian Kelly as his 2025 team, there will never be another 2019 LSU, and that might be sad. But LSU is still the barometer of greatness in college football. It's our program that's done it. And it's still up to us to go out there and top it. It's still up to us to go out there and say, hey, records are meant to be broken. It was an LSU guy who set the record. It's going to be an LSU guy who's going to break the record. And you know what? I think Brian Kelly's probably too conservative in his play, like his team set up to let Garrett Nussmeier be able to throw 60-plus touchdowns in a season. Wants to run the ball more than that. But you saw LSU trying to get Jaden Daniels the Heisman in 2023 as well, letting him put up crazy numbers. So there's a chance for crazy numbers in 2023. My God. There is a chance for great numbers in 2025. When you're looking at the receiving core that LSU has, it's freakish. You've got Xavion Thomas, Aaron Anderson returning from last year. You've got Nick Anderson, Berrien Brown coming through the portal. I mean, that's ridiculous. Just right there. And that doesn't count all the guys you've got. Kylan Billio, who could be an absolute freak. You've still got Shelton Sampson, right? Or did he enter the portal? Let me see that real quick. forgetting if he entered the portal or not. Yeah, he entered the portal. So yeah, you've got really good pieces to work with. Donovan Green at tight end, Bauer Sharp at tight end. The running back room is illustrious with Caden Durham, Caleb Jackson, who really we need to give him the ball more this next year. John Emery Jr. potentially could be returning as well. Trey Holly hopefully will be able to come back on the team. There's so much potential all over where you look at LSU this next season. And I think it is not a dangerous thing or a bad thing to take inspiration from this 2019 team. Look at this team. Obsess over this team. Obsess over the habits of this team. Obsess over the machine that they created. Because guess what? When you do that, you then start to pick up those same traits. You will be able to identify where you can put those traits into your own life and how that can improve your own life. I've done this type of stuff, and I need to do it more. We can all look at this 2019 team, obsess over them for the next however long, and it would make sense because the longer and longer it goes, with each passing day, what this 2019 team did, it keeps getting better and better.